$14,000. That is what a new V8 costs, installed, in a truck that still has payments left on it. Roughly 600,000 of them were recalled in the United States alone, and in 2026 federal regulators are asking a very ugly question: does the repair even work? This is the list of engines that are still failing right now. Not museum pieces. Not 90s junk. Engines sitting in driveways this morning, on used lots this afternoon, and in a couple of cases still rolling out of factories. 9 of them, ranked by how much money they take out of your pocket. And the one at number 1 is not some rare performance motor. It is the V8 under the hood of America's best-selling truck. Let's start at 9. Number 9. The 2.4-liter Tigershark MultiAir, found in the Jeep Cherokee, Compass and Renegade, the Dodge Dart and the Chrysler 200, roughly 2013 through 2020. On paper it was the sensible choice. Around 180 horsepower, no turbo to blow up, decent fuel economy, and a price that put a lot of people into their first new SUV. Here is what actually happens. This engine drinks oil. Not a little. Owners commonly report a quart gone every 1,000 to 1,500 miles, and the cause is down in the pistons, in the ring design and how those rings seal against the cylinder wall. There is no drip on your driveway. It goes out the tailpipe. Then there is the MultiAir unit itself, the electro-hydraulic brick that sits on top of the head and controls the intake valves. When it fails, the engine runs rough, throws misfire codes, and sometimes barely idles. First symptom is almost always the oil light coming on between changes, often somewhere in the 40 to 70,000 mile window. The bill? A MultiAir unit typically runs $800 to $1,200. Let it run low on oil long enough and you are into a short block, $4,500 and up, on a vehicle worth maybe $7,000. Buying rule: pull the dipstick yourself. If it is bone dry or freshly topped off by a seller who suddenly has no service records, that is your answer. Walk. Number 8 belongs to General Motors, and it is the 2.4-liter Ecotec 4-cylinder. Chevy Equinox, Malibu, GMC Terrain, Buick Regal and Verano, roughly 2010 through 2017. Millions of these were sold as the smart, economical family choice. Direct injection, variable valve timing, 30 on the highway. Modern engineering at a Walmart price. 2 things kill it. First, the timing chain stretches early. When it does, the cam and crank fall out of sync and the computer starts screaming timing correlation codes. Second, this engine burns oil, again from the rings and a PCV system that pulls oil straight into the intake. Low oil accelerates the chain wear. Number 7, and now we cross the ocean. The BMW N20 and N26 2-liter Turbo 4, in the 2012 through 2015 328i, 528i, X1 and X3. This engine was supposed to be the future. Turbocharged, direct injected, near 3-liter power with 4-cylinder fuel economy. And to be fair, it drives beautifully. When it is healthy, it is a genuinely great motor. The problem is behind it. The timing chain and the oil pump drive chain run off the back of the engine, and the plastic guides that hold the chain in place become brittle. They wear, the chain goes slack, and eventually it can jump or snap. If it snaps, valves meet pistons and the engine is scrap metal. The tell is a rattle or a light chain slap at idle, worst when cold, sometimes a faint whine. Owners report it anywhere from 60,000 miles up, and it is not mileage alone. Skipped oil changes make it happen faster. Because the chain lives at the back, the engine typically has to come out. Shops usually quote $3,000 to $5,000 to do it properly. Let it break instead and you are shopping for a used engine at $8,000 plus. Credit where it is due, the B46 and B48 engines that replaced this from 2016 onward are a significantly better design. But if you are shopping that generation of 3 Series right now, the chain guides are the whole conversation. No records of that job, no deal. Number 6. Subaru's FB20 and FB25 4-cylinder boxer, 2011 through 2015, in the Forester, Outback, Impreza, and Crosstrek. Subaru sells safety, symmetrical all-wheel drive and a mountain lifestyle, and buyers pay a premium for it. What they did not expect was an engine that treats motor oil as a consumable. Excessive oil consumption on these is so widely documented that it produced a class action, a settlement, and extended coverage from Subaru itself. The root of it sits in the piston ring design. Some owners burn a quart every 1,000 to 1,200 miles. No smoke you would notice, no puddle, just a dipstick that keeps dropping. Here is the myth bust. Everybody blames the driver for skipping oil changes. On this engine, that is backwards. The oil goes missing between the changes, and the low level is what starves the bearings. A short block replacement typically runs $4,000 to $6,000 in a car that books for $8,000. To be fair to Subaru, they eventually acknowledged it. They covered a lot of engines, and the newer FB and FA engines are far better on consumption. But that fairness does nothing for you on a private party 2013 Forester with no paperwork. Still with me? Good. Because everything from here up involves trucks, V8s, and repair bills that start with a 1 and have 5 digits after it. Number 5, the first generation Ford 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6, 2011 through 2016, in the F-150, Expedition, Flex and Taurus SHO. This engine changed the truck market. 365 horsepower, 420 pound-feet of torque, outtowing V8s while promising better mileage. People loved it. They still do. But Ford put the water pump inside the engine, driven off the timing chain. When the seal on that pump gives up, the coolant does not run down onto your driveway where you would see it. It runs into the crankcase and mixes with your oil. Coolant is not a lubricant. Bearings do not survive it. The symptom is a coolant reservoir that keeps going down with no visible leak anywhere. If you ever pull the dipstick and see something the color of a chocolate milkshake, stop. Do not start it again. Because the timing cover has to come off, that water pump job typically quotes $1,200 to $2,000. Catch it late and you are buying an engine. There is a second one on the early 2011 and 2012 trucks, condensation collecting in the intercooler, then getting slugged into the engine under hard acceleration, causing a violent misfire and a stumble. Ford addressed it with a service bulletin and hardware changes. Give Ford this much, the second generation from 2017 added port injection alongside direct and is a stronger engine overall, though those years brought their own cam phaser rattle. Buying rule on a first gen, ask for the water pump receipt. That single piece of paper is worth $2,000. Number 4, the 3.6-liter Pentastar V6, specifically 2011 through 2013, in the Jeep Wrangler and Grand Cherokee, the Dodge Charger and Durango, and the Chrysler minivans. This engine was Chrysler's big swing. 285 horsepower, an all-new design, and it went into practically everything the company built. Then the left cylinder head started failing. The valve seats and guides on that bank were not holding up, and the result was a persistent tick and a dead misfire, usually on cylinder 2 or cylinder 4. Not a wear out at 200,000 miles. Plenty of owners hit it under 100. Chrysler took this one seriously and extended warranty coverage on those heads well beyond the standard powertrain term, which is exactly the kind of response the other companies on this list should study. Out of warranty, a cylinder head job typically quotes $1,500 to $2,500. And here is the fair part. Chrysler redesigned the head for 2014, and the later Pentastars are, by mechanic consensus, solid engines. Same displacement, same badge, completely different ownership experience. So the rule is narrow and simple. On a 2011 to 2013, listen for a ticket idle and confirm whether that head was ever replaced. On 2014 and up, relax. Number 3 is old, and it is still ruining people's months, which is exactly why it is this high. The Ford 5.4-liter Triton 3-valve V8, 2004 through 2010, in the F-150, Expedition and Lincoln Navigator. These trucks are cheap now. That is the bait. Big V8, 4-wheel drive, tow package, $8,000. It looks like the deal of the year. Two things go wrong, and they usually go wrong together. The variable cam phasers and the chain tensioners wear out, and the engine develops a cold start rattle so loud that people genuinely think a diesel pulled in next to them. Ignore it and the chain can skip. Then the spark plugs. Ford used a two-piece plug design in these heads, and the lower half seizes into the cylinder head. When the shop tries to remove it, the plug breaks off and stays in the engine. 8 cylinders, 8 chances. A full phaser and timing job typically runs $2,500 to $4,000. Add several hundred to well over $1,000 if the plugs snap off, and they often do. Do the math on an $8,000 truck. Half its value, gone, on maintenance that is not optional. The verdict: if the seller cannot show you paperwork for the timing job and the plugs, that price is not a bargain. That price is a warning label. Number 2. The 5.7-liter Hemi V8, in the Ram 1500, Dodge Charger, Challenger and Durango, and the Jeep Grand Cherokee, roughly 2009 to present. Let me be clear before the comments fill up. The Hemi makes great power, it sounds fantastic, and there are plenty of them at 250,000 miles doing fine. This is not a bad engine. It is an engine with one specific, expensive weak point. That weak point is the cylinder deactivation system, MDS. To save fuel, the engine shuts down 4 cylinders under light load using special lifters. Those lifters are where it starts. The roller on one seizes, stops spinning, and instead of rolling across the camshaft lobe it grinds into it. Once that lobe is wiped, metal shavings enter the oil, and the oil goes everywhere. The first symptom is a tick at idle that gets louder, then a misfire that will not clear no matter how many coils and plugs you throw at it. Now the myth bust, because this matters. Not every Hemi tick is the camshaft. A lot of them are broken exhaust manifold bolts, which is annoying and cheap. The problem is that they sound similar from the driver's seat, and only one of them destroys your engine. You have to find out which one you have. Camshaft and lifter replacement typically quotes $3,500 to $6,000. If the metal already circulated, you are replacing the engine, $8,000 to $12,000. The rule: short oil change intervals, real oil, and never, ever ignore a new tick. Number 1. The GM 6.2-liter L87 and 5.3-liter L84 V8, in the Chevy Silverado and Tahoe, the Suburban, the GMC Sierra and Yukon, and the Cadillac Escalade. This is not a niche engine in a forgotten model. This is the engine in some of the best-selling vehicles in the United States. Work trucks, family haulers, business assets. 2 separate failure paths. On the 6.2, it is the rod bearings. According to GM's own filings, crankshafts that did not meet specification, along with machining debris, made it into finished engines. When a rod bearing lets go in a V8 this size, it is not a noise. The rod can come apart and go through the block, at speed, with almost no warning. On the 5.3, the cylinder deactivation lifters can collapse and take the camshaft with them, the same mechanism that put the Hemi at number 2. In 2025, GM recalled roughly 600,000 trucks and SUVs in the United States, over 700,000 worldwide. And here is the part that puts it at number 1. For many owners, the remedy was not a new engine. It was an inspection, and if the engine passed, a heavier weight oil and a new oil cap. Then engines kept failing after dealer service. By 2026, federal regulators opened a review into whether that remedy actually fixes anything. Out of warranty, a replacement 6.2 runs $12,000 to $15,000 installed. That is not a repair. That is a used car. If you own one, run your VIN at nhtsa.gov, get the recall work documented in writing, and do not accept a verbal all clear. If you are buying used, that paperwork is the deal. Step back and look at all 9, because there is one pattern running through every single one of them. Almost none of these engines failed because the engineering was stupid. They failed because something got squeezed. Cylinder deactivation, chasing a fuel economy number on a government test. Low tension piston rings, chasing the same number. A water pump moved inside the engine to save space. A supplier part that shipped out of spec and nobody caught it. First-year technology sold to paying customers instead of test drivers. You cannot fix that with a better oil filter. But you can refuse to be the one holding the bill. Check the engine code before the badge. Ask for the receipt on the one job that kills that specific motor. And when a deal feels too good on a truck with a known failure, that is not luck. That is somebody handing you their problem. So tell me down in the comments, which one of these did you own, and what did it cost you? Real numbers, because somebody reading is about to sign paperwork today. Next week we are doing the opposite list, the engines that genuinely go 300,000 miles. Subscribe so you see it before you buy, not after. Thanks for watching.